Hello everybody, got another knife review for you right here, right now, but first feel free to subscribe at the little bell notification if you do not want to miss weekly knife and gun videos as always. This is going to be on one of those Chinese Amazon specials. The Flissa F014042A. That's the only model name / number I could find on this thing, and even if you type that in, it's kind of tricky to find it, but do your best, it's out there. I got this for 20 bucks. It's one of those guys that'll probably go on sale for even cheaper than that. Sometimes you might be able to get it for like 12 or 10 or something crazy. Excellent knife for that price. I'll just say right off the bat, it's got kind of like a Spyderco persistence, size, and overall construction, feel. Quality's there. It's solid, like a lot of these Amazon specials that are coming out. Got some scary good quality for the money. I'm not going to say they're great, amazing knives or anything, but they're very solid for what you're paying. They're 20 bucks, 25 bucks. It's an excellent knife for the money. Scary good for the money. Pretty cool looking too. Let's get some specs out of the way real quick. From my own measurements, we have the blade and cutting edge length pretty much spot on, 3.125 inches. The handle length is 4.2 inches, making the overall length 7.325 inches. So just a hair above 3 inches on the blade, just a hair above 4 inches on the handle. Overall length of almost 7.5 inches. D2 blade steel. Yeah, D2, that's becoming extremely common on the super cheap shitty knives coming out these days. It's actually very solid. We'll talk about that. G10 handle scales, stainless steel liners, not skeletonized. Axis clone, shafty, crossbar, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't care. It's this lock, okay? That's what it is. Works very well. It's on ball bearings. You might be able to see that. Maybe. Let's get some light in there. Maybe you can. I can see it, but I don't know if you can. But there's ball bearings in there. Trust me. So it's smooth. Yeah, very smooth. Love seeing those ball bearings on the crossbar locks. Super smooth. We're getting a lot of these coming out these days with D2. It's always the D2 Axis clone ball bearings. I like seeing that. That's a very good combination. It is tip up carry. It's a great pocket clip. It's nested within the G10, so it's not just slapped on top of it. It's inside of there. That makes it a little bit more snug. Not swappable to the left side. So close. Look how ambidextrous this guy is. It's great. And then they didn't tap out holes on the left side, so that sucks, but oh well. Lanyard hole. There's no tube in there like most of them don't have. Love this pocket clip. Again, perfect tension. Good design overall. I like how it's blackened. Loop over. Carries extremely well. Most knives these days have good pocket clips. I mean, back in the day, it was all over the place. Like, companies were still kind of trying to define what the meta of carry was, so you had like goofy stuff happen, but that's basically what you're gonna be seeing. Okay. Totally fine. Positive extraction on that. Very fast deployment. You can use the crossbar or the thumb hole itself. No side to side. No up and down. We got pretty much a bank vault lockup on this sucker. I'm going to call it a warnie, although it's not truly flush. There is some belly on there, just a little bit. You can rock it just a little bit. So it's not completely straight, not completely flush. We have a little bit of a belly, but some may just call it a Warncliffe. Okay, you do you. I like this very abrupt. That cutout is flush right there on the spine towards the tip. We have 3 levels to it that are all flush on the spine. That's kind of giving us that sci-fi straight geometrical kind of sharp look, which is cool. And then we have a very long opening hole right there, which is almost cut at 90 degrees. I think it's slightly rounded, actually, just a hair. It's not like Spyderco 90 degree cut or anything. It's a little bit rounded. Personally, I like the super sharp 90 degree cuts, but maybe some people find that uncomfortable. Deploy's okay. I'd give it like a B. I wish it was wider. I wish there was just a big old like circle. That's my preference. When it comes to a hole, I just want a circle. I don't want any other shape, although it is cool looking. It's just not the most exposed. The other hole shapes just don't really work as well as the circle. Circle can't really mess with perfection, but it is what it is. I've seen worse. It's actually not the end of the world. It's relatively easy to get to that. Sometimes when you see a knife like this that has a really slim opening hole, sometimes you have trouble getting to that, and you have to kind of like really dig the tip of your thumb in there, especially if it's a wider handled knife. But they actually executed this pretty well. You can see there's another cutout in the G10 that's sloping down, aiming towards that thumb hole. On both sides, it's completely symmetrical, so it's pretty easy to get to there. You can flick it out that way too. You just got to dig your thumb in there a little bit. The ball bearings certainly help get it out there, even if you don't get a great purchase on that. Doesn't shake out easily. That axis lock is doing its job. I can feel it kind of shaking. If I really try to whip it out, eventually I'll get it, but no, not on camera. I can't. Off camera? There we go. I did it. I finally did it. So I'm going to say that's perfectly safe retention. Let's weigh this guy real quick. What do you think? What do we think? I'm going to say like 3.6 ounces. 3.57. Oh, dude. Dude, 3.56. I did not weigh this off camera. I was so close. 3.56, 3.57. Yeah, so 3.5 ounces, give or take. Not a lightweight knife for the size, not a heavy knife either. It's just somewhere in between because the liners are not skeletonized. I like how it's kind of a chunky monkey. It's like a medium length knife overall, but it's a little bit thick, so you can really get a good grip on it. Hand filling, medium lighter traction G10. It's kind of smooth. It's grippy enough. There's no jimping anywhere. I kind of wish they just had like a little bit right there, but I don't really care that much. It's grippy enough. Tactical blade, yeah, sure. Not the best ever. But you know what? That's going to be a wicked piercer. That's going to be very, very good for piercing. Wharncliffes are touted to be good defensive blades, good knife fighting blades. I don't know a whole lot about knife fighting, but some people swear by the Wharncliffe. Some people swear by that straight edge. Definitely good for piercing. That's going to be slightly fragile, so just keep that in mind. It's really cool looking. I really like the way it looks. There's nothing like a cool sci-fi knife that's actually functional. There's a handful of sci-fi knives cosmetically that are kind of like floating around there, but a lot of the time they're just uncomfortable. They don't feel very good. They don't perform very well. They're just not very good knives, but this is actually an exception. It's totally worth the money. Like if Kershaw made something like this, they'd probably be charging like 40 bucks for it. If Benchmade made something like this, they'd probably be charging like 150 bucks for it. But for 20 bucks, that's a really good deal. I always love seeing those crossbars on there. I love the fidget factor. It's fast, it's smooth, very good lockup, good ergonomics overall. It might look a little bit uncomfortable because you have like, you know, somewhat harsh angles here and there, but no, it's fitting my hands pretty well overall, actually, and I like how it's hand filling. The fact that it's thicker, I think it kind of compensates because it's somewhat of a shorter handle. I mean, I can get a full grip right here. I'm almost starting to slip off a little bit, but because there's a lot to hold on to, I'm not missing like too much or anything. Do kind of wish there was some jimp in there again, but we were close. We were close. I love the little anodization. Maybe that's what that is, aluminum or something, I don't really know, but that little trim around the pivot screw. Blackened hardware too, by the way, except for the crossbar. It's the only bit of red on this whole knife. I kind of wish there was red like somewhere else, like on the pillars or the screws or something, but decent weight overall, a lot of edge to work with, a lot of handle to hold on to. D2, basically it outperforms, you know, like 8CR13 MOV, 440C, even AUS 8. Yeah, it'll hold its edge just a little bit longer. Being a tool steel and other factors in there, it's not going to have as good rust and corrosion resistance. A lot of us are already kind of familiar with that, but if you're not, that's D2. It's a good, affordable economy steel, but it will hold its edge typically longer than most of the other usual suspects on the lower end knives, you know, the sub $50 range or so. That's kind of the compromise. You just want a better performing blade. You don't really care too much about the corrosion and rust resistance. You just keep your knives nice and oiled. You take care of them. Maybe you're not in a totally humid environment, but maybe it's very like dry where you're at. Then D2 becomes more and more of a viable option. Stone wash finish. Thank you very much. That's also going to help with rust resistance a little bit. Oh yeah. It's not the cleanest, like absolute, like, you know, Cold Steel or Spyderco factory edge, but it's certainly sharp enough. That is still very, very sharp overall. I didn't touch this up or anything. You see I'm kind of goofing up there, but some of that is going to be user error. Overall, for 20 bucks, it's one of the best $20 knives out there, says me. It's got everything going for it. I can't think of too many obvious flaws. Very good EDC and pseudo-tactical blade, yeah. And you got some style going for it too. So if you like the sci-fi thing, you might like this one. So there you have it. That is the Flissa D2 crossbar. Do you have this knife? What are your thoughts on it? Do you have any other Amazon specials that kind of remind you of this guy? Let me know in the comments down below. It's always awesome to hear what you guys have to say, and I always learn something from you. Thank you so much for watching. Mannix out.